Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. I sure appreciate everybody that's already subscribed and hit that little bell and all that good jazz. And if you ain't already, hit that old subscribe and that bell. That way you get notified every time I put one of these things up. It automatically pops up. I sure would thank you. But I was going to go over today the biggest thing that I see the bass fishermen doing wrong. Maybe not the biggest, but one key thing I see bass fishermen doing wrong on the forward-facing sonar, Livescope, Active Target, Mega Live, all that. One of the biggest things I see the bass guys doing wrong. Now, I will say this: I'm no Josh Jones. I don't catch, multiple double digits and all that. I'm nowhere on his level. I mean, I'm pretty decent at it, pretty good. I can hold my own, but I ain't no Josh Jones, so no, I can't compare to him. But I do know this one thing, and if you're pretty good with Livescope, everybody can pick it out. And it's mainly in the bass guys that's kind of getting new to the Livescope. What I see them doing is they will be running their forward-facing sonar. They'll be out looking for targets, and they'll see a brush pile, and it'll have a fish or two on it. But a lot of the people will see the brush pile and just go across the brush pile and say, well, there it is, and just start chunking, chunking anything, spinner bait, old chatter bait, hoo-hoo, whatever, throwing whatever, swim bait, just any kind of moving bait over the top of the brush pile or just up in the area. Not necessarily targeting the fish, they're just getting in the area, just kind of like old Jerry Clyde, get up in there amongst them. That's kind of what they're doing, and that really is it's not a really good idea. I mean, I don't know the particular word, but detrimental, I guess you would say. Instead of just chunking up in there amongst them with old chatterbait or swim jig or a swim bait or something like that, anything A-rig, instead of just chunking up in there over in the area, hoping that the fish comes out and bites it and all that, instead of doing that, pinpoint the fish exactly. I mean, get up there to him, take that swim bait and fire on the fish, or whatever it is, whatever lure, whatever you choose, fire on the fish itself. Don't just chunk over there and amongst him, which we all know most bass are pretty aggressive, and they'll come and they, you find your bait. They'll go down. They're a little more aggressive than a crappie. For the most part, they are. And everybody knows that they'll come and they'll go down and eat crawfish and all that stuff. But instead of just finding you a log or finding a brush pile and just firing over there, hoping for the best that he's going to run out and eat your cricket, if he will, pinpoint that fish. Go to him or get close enough to him to where you can put a precise cast on that rascal, and then he'll eat it. I mean, you put it right in his comfort zone, more times than not, he's going to smoke it anyway. You run that thing right over top of his head, he's going to eat it just out of curiosity sometimes. You'll be a lot better off if you'll pinpoint them fish instead of just, like I said, instead of just chunking over at them. Go through there and pinpoint fish. And I'll tell you another thing, get on ledges, particularly ledges. You get on a ledge and you get on a school, don't just fire in there and catch you one and then, hope the best come. Look at that school, find the biggest fish of the school. Fire on him. If you're a tournament fisher, if you want a big fish, fire on him and catch him and then go to the next biggest fish. Don't just say, well, here's a big school of 75 or 50 or 75, 100, however many bass. Don't just say, well, there's that, and then go to throwing a crankbait through them and hoping for the best. If you can, try and pick you one precise target out, one fish out that you like out there, begging that you think he's the one. He got to go in the box, Jack. Pick him out and put the bait on him. I'm talking about running it right over his head. A lot of times that'll make you a lot better, more accurate caster. Of course, it's going to do that because you pinpoint that rascal instead of throwing up there amongst them. And more times than not, they'll come near eating it, as if you will. You just kind of throw over there, but I just see that. I see a lot of the guys doing that. I even watching, MLF and Bassmaster, all them guys kind of watching their screen and watching them fish. A lot of them will just chunk over and hope for the best. I think that's where a lot of your guys that are excelling at the forward-facing sonar, your Connells, your Wheelers, Paul Nick, all the guys that are really good with forward-facing sonar, they figured that out. They're keying in and targeting one fish at a time. They ain't just going over and fishing the school. They see a fish, they cast to him or drop on, catch him, go to the next one, instead of just kind of getting in the area. I think that's why a lot of you guys that are excelling right now on the elites bass trail, BPT, all the guys, NPFL, all them guys, the best of the best with your that are doing really good right now on your forward-facing sonar, you know, Livescope, Active Target, Mega Live. They're keying in on the one main fish. That's part of it. It ain't all of it, I know that, but I think that's a big part of it. They're keying in on one fish, putting an active shot on him, catching that fish, going to the next one, instead of just kind of when ducks come in, everybody, they try to have a tendency of wide shooting, cubby shooting, just get up in there amongst them. A lot of times you miss. You put that bait right on one fish, it's going to be hard for him to say no. But y'all try that out. I mean, it might not be the end-all, be-all, but I do know it'll help. I've seen a lot of guys doing that, and I don't, the crappie guys, we don't do that because, one, crappie ain't that aggressive. I mean, sometimes they'll come a long ways to get it, but more times than not, you've got to put that bait directly on a crappie to get them to turn and bite it, or get them to even notice you. But I think that's just one thing I'm just going to throw out there that I see a lot of the guys bass fishing. Don't just throw over there and get in amongst them in the school. Fire a really good shot on one fish that you like and catch him, and then go to the next one. Make a precise cast to a one fish target. It might be one fish in the brush pile. Run that swim jig right through that brush pile or that swim bait. Put it right over that fish's head. Don't just get over on the edge and hope he runs out. I believe that's going to help some folks. Keep that in your mind. Whenever y'all out there, just practice it. If it don't help you, just forget you even watched this video if it don't help you. But I strongly think it's going to help. But anyway, I sure do appreciate it. Y'all hit that old subscribe button over there and leave me a comment. What do you think? If you think I'm an idiot, tell me, hey, you're an idiot. If you like it, got any questions, let me know in the comments. I sure do appreciate it. And y'all keep snatching on them.